Hey class, Mr. Husted here, back with another exciting episode of Geometry Notes. Today we are still talking about circles. Today we're going to be talking about other angle relationships that we will find in circles. So if you remember to last lesson was talking about inscribed angles and how an inscribed angle is half as big as the arc measurement. And we're going to kind of put that into full force today with the different notes that we are going to talk about here. So the first theorem we are talking about, if a tangent and a chord intersect, so this is a tangent, this is a chord, if they intersect, then the measure of each angle formed is 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. So that kind of goes without saying, pretty similar to the last time. For angle 1, this is the intercepted arc, so it's going to be half of that. For angle 2, this is the intercepted arc. It's going to be half of that. Just think about that for a second. An entire circle is 360 degrees. A line is 180 degrees. 180 degrees is exactly 1/2 of 360. So to come up with those angle measures, we are just going to divide the intercepted arcs by 2. All right. So let's put that into action here. Example 1, number 1, or letter A. They want us to find the line M is a tangent to the circle. Find the measure of the red angle or the red arc. So what we are doing here is that we have a tangent, we have a chord, the intercepted arc is 130 degrees. So if we are finding the angle, so in this case we are finding angle 1, so it would be arc AB divided by 2. So in this case, angle 1 will be equal to 130 divided by 2, which is 65 degrees. So this is 65. Now on the other hand, if we look at example B here, now we are trying to find the arc. So we are trying to find arc KJL, and that is going to be equal to angle L times 2. So KJL will be equal to 125 times 2. So KJL is equal to 250 degrees. We also know that it's going to be greater than 180 because of the fact that we have to name it with 3 points. We can see that it's greater than 180 because it doesn't go through the diameter. But just keep in mind, if we have this measure, we double it to get the arc. If we have the arc, we divide it by 2 to get the angle. Okay? Now, so that's when an angle is formed on a circle. Some interesting things take place when angles are formed inside or outside of the circle. So when they are formed inside the circle and they don't go through the diameter, okay, so when two chords intersect inside a circle, then the measure of each angle is 1/2 the sum of the measures of the intercepted arcs by the angle and its vertical angles. So, pretty, let's see if we can put this into layman's terms for you. If I'm trying to find angle 1, I have this intercepted arc, and I'm also going to have this intercepted arc. I'm going to add those intercepted arcs together, and then I'm going to divide it by 2. And then from there, we can do the same thing with angle 2. We'd add arc BC and arc AD together and also divide by 2. So that's when they are formed inside the circle. Now when they are formed outside the circle, many things take place. Okay? So if a tangent and a secant, two tangents or two secants intersect outside a circle, then the measure of the angle formed is 1/2 the difference of the angle measures of the intercepted arcs. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, essentially speaking, so we have a secant and a tangent. Remember, a secant intersects at 2 spots. We would take the measure of the 2 intercepted arcs and subtract them. So inside the circle, we are going to add them. Outside of the circle, we are going to subtract them. And always subtract them such that you get a positive answer, and then divide by 2. Okay? All right, so with those in mind, let's take a look at another example. So this one is a measure inside the circle. So inside, I just need to remember that I'm going to add together, then I need to divide by 2. So if I'm trying to find the value of x, it's going to be equal to the intercepted arc, which is 156 degrees, plus the intercepted arc created by the vertical angle, which is 130 degrees. So we'll add those two together, and then we'll divide by 2. Top number, 286, divided by 2 will give us 143. So the angle measure here is 143 degrees. Again, inside the circle, add together, divide by 2. Okay? And it's always the angle measure from the intercepted arc and its vertical angle. So definitely drawing on some vocabulary from lessons past. Okay, and then as you can imagine, we are now going to do one that is going to be outside the circle. Outside the circle is subtracting and dividing by 2. So to find the measure of x, we will take the larger of the two intercepted arcs, 178, subtract the smaller of the two intercepted arcs, which is not 172, it's 176, and divide by 2. 178 minus 76 is 102. Dividing by 2 will give us 51. So this angle measure right here is 51 degrees. Again, lots of information we covered here. Need to understand how to find angle measures inside a circle, add, then divide by 2, how to find measures outside a circle, subtract and divide by 2, and we will be talking more about circles in the next lesson. If you have any questions, bring them with you to class, and we will see you then.